compliance is traditionally been what we call it the BPU, right? The business prevention unit. We're there to make things difficult. Not that compliance trying to make things difficult, but the compliance nature of the compliance officer, somebody that is in compliance is by default, I don't want to say by default, but most likely it's going to be a risk-adverse individual, right? The profile of the compliance officer is somebody that understands the law and is always thinking about the bad thing that can happen, right? And that's what compliance needs to evolve, and that's what is evolving, I believe, with FinTech, is getting the compliance organization to be part of the product development, to develop the product with that compliance in mind, rather than developing a product and then sticking the compliance to it as a sore thumb that is just going to create friction and prevent the business and create difficulties in the business growing because they have to comply, rather than embedding it into the initial growth so that it can grow with compliance as part of the product. Because like I tell people in the organization, you're not compliant because I'm telling you to. And there is no such a thing as a compliant requirement. There is a product requirement to comply with the law, right? It's like when the law came out saying that cars had to have seatbelts, right? The first set of seatbelts was just bolted on, and it was a pain and it was a friction, but it became part of the design of the car. And then you started seeing, you walk into the car and the seatbelt just puts on itself, and a lot of invention in order to assume, and that is part of the product feature, that in order to have a compliant product, you have to do that. And then once you start thinking of it that way, it opens up for a delighted as a competitive advantage, as I said, so that people that don't think about it that way will continue to be a friction for them while it's an advantage for you.